What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know who I am. Welcome back to another episode of Film Stock Reviews. In this episode, I'm reviewing the documentary called The Last Blockbuster. As you can see, I'm a big, huge proponent of the Blockbuster video store because it was a huge thing during my childhood. You go there Friday nights, Saturday nights, pick out a movie you want, go home and watch it. It was fantastic. It was at the peak when VHS tapes were still around and getting big, and over the course of time, and DVDs came into play as well. Listen, it was nostalgic, it was nostalgia. And Blockbuster was founded in 1985, October of 1985, by David Cook, and it grew to close to 9,000 stores in the US alone. But now, as of 2020, 2021, there is one last Blockbuster remaining, and that Blockbuster is in Bend, Oregon, which is what this documentary is about. We see how the last remaining Blockbuster is, what it's doing, and people are still going there to rent movies, even at the time where streaming services are so huge right now. The documentary does go in depth about other things as well, how Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix, what the circumstances were, and what actually killed Blockbuster. It wasn't Netflix and wasn't return fees. Basically, the underlying factor is that corporate themselves in Blockbuster killed Blockbuster. They tried to rejuvenate it, but it couldn't happen. And Viacom back in the 90s bought the company for $8.4 billion, but then later on, evidently at the end of 2010, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Dish Network bought it for $324 million. So you can see that there's a big gap between the $8.4 billion that Viacom bought it for and then what Dish Network bought it for. The interesting thing is that, who knows, we could be watching Blockbuster flicks right now instead of Netflix. We could be watching Blockbuster's own streaming service. Hey, anything could have happened, anything's possible. But the thing about Blockbuster is that if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you knew this was a staple for you every Friday night or Saturday night, going to the video store and just browsing for an hour or even 2 hours. When you go there, you browse all the time and you lose track of time. Even I was in there close to maybe the most at 2 hours trying to pick out a movie, and I was just walking around. Seeing the video games, renting out video games was a big thing. Listen, hey, Blockbuster was a fantastic and still is a fantastic thing, and if they brought it back, that would be great and would be fun, but I don't understand why they would if there are so many streaming services out there, and I think there's too many streaming services out there. The feeling of going to an actual video store, renting that movie, going in smelling what Blockbuster smelled like was great. And even though it was that, that carpet and old tape vinyl smell that it had was really fun and really interesting, but it was so memorable that, seeing this documentary really brought back a lot of memories. And even the commercials back in the day, are really fun to watch. If you've never been to a Blockbuster, and I know most of you haven't, you missed out on a great time. Because for me, I was born in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. I have to say that I grew up in a time where the nostalgic factor of pop culture was reaching its peak and its epicenter point of things, and it's great. Listen, Blockbuster was the cornerstone of everything. This documentary was really well worth checking out, really well worth watching, and the funny thing is, this documentary, The Last Blockbuster, from documentary filmmaker Taylor Morden, is now currently on Netflix. So that's kind of interesting, and if you don't know what this is really something to check out. Even with the documentaries about video games, console wars, video stores, I'm really curious to see what's next and if Taylor Morden does anything else other than The Last Blockbuster, because there are really a lot of celebrities in this documentary that talk about Blockbuster, working at Blockbuster, making memories from Blockbuster Video. This place was fun to be at. This place was nostalgic. It is nostalgic. And like I say, watch the commercials that are on YouTube. Check out the old time feeling of what a Blockbuster is. Check out this documentary. This documentary for me gets 5 out of 5 stars. I love documentaries like this because it actually takes me back to your childhood and what you remember, what you can remember, and just going in there, picking up that VHS tape, holding it, reading the cover of everything, and just, hey, be kind, rewind, you walk out with some soda, some popcorn, you go home, you sit down, and you enjoy your movie that you rented from Blockbuster. And let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this documentary, The Last Blockbuster from Taylor Morton. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you enjoy it? And what rating would you give it? And also let me know what kind of memories you have from going to Blockbuster on Friday or Saturday nights. And do you still have any VHS tapes that you did not return? Because I'm pretty sure I still have some that I did not return. And I still have my Blockbuster card. So let me know in the comment section below. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new videos on my channel. And you know where to follow Marchio Productions and me, Mr. Filmstock. I'll leave a link to all the social media accounts in the description box below. You guys can check it out and follow along. I'm Anthony. Thanks for tuning in.
Blockbuster video. Wow, what